pace with control of this race. Here comes a run from Davey Hazard. He blocks the 10. Not going to be enough. Ryan Pace is going to win at Talladega.
Curry trying to hold off Wilson. He's done a good job so far. Wilson, one last desperate attempt to the bottom. He won't get there. Nick Curry wins at Bristol.
Coming out turn number 2, coming down the back straightaway here. Looks like he's in a class of his own right now.
Merzlak, one final time, get around the 55, big time send.
He hits the wall, he hits it, he gets the lead, but can he hang on to it? Oh my goodness, he made it to the line!
Big push down the backstretch is going to give him a good run through the corners.
A little bit
follow from the 1.
A little bit of contact there for second, but coming to the line, Toby Roberson's going to take home the checkered flag and victory here from the new Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Before I wrap things up here in this segment, your thoughts on the type of race we're going to see tonight? And I would have to agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to tonight's feature presentation, the Bomb Squad Racing Cup Series presented by Voiles Trucking, live here on JTN for Race 3 of the 2024 Cup Series season. We're so glad you're joining us here tonight. Hello and welcome. My name is JoeTowNetwork, joined up here in the booth this evening by the one and only Boston's very own Mr. Dewey Schramm III. Dewey, welcome back to Richmond, buddy.
Yeah, been a while since I've done a race here at Richmond, but always a good time, and, well, get to see who gets to come out on top here and to keep their momentum going to start this season off.
It's been an interesting start to the year. You, of course, and Weaver were down in Daytona for the season opener. Brian Voiles swept the week of races there. Last week, Zach Rogers bookended the week with a Truck Series and Xfinity Series win, but Tyler Mallon took home the second Cup Series checkered flag of the year at Rockingham 1 week ago. Momentum on the side of the defending series champion with 2 really strong runs to start the year. How do you keep your momentum, and how has that 18 team been able to keep that momentum through the offseason?
I mean, when you're the champion, I think it's pretty easy to keep that momentum going. I think when you win a championship and you do it as convincingly as Tyler Mallon did in that 18, you can, show up to basically every race that next season with that newfound swagger and confidence. Like, I've already done this. What's going to stop me from doing it again? And while that attitude can definitely, lead to maybe some bad habits and some mistakes, it's definitely very easy when you're already riding that momentum boost to just keep it right on going.
Folks, this, of course, is your BSR Cup Series race preview, presented by our friends at AutoSim 2. AutoSim 2 now available on Steam. It's 140 laps tonight here, Dewey. It's a classic short track here on the old Richmond Fairgrounds. Richmond, one of those unique racetracks. We've seen drivers in the past able to march their way up the banking. Don't know if that's going to be the case tonight. We've seen in the past here in BSR, drivers like to be around that, I don't know, maybe a quarter car width up off the bottom. You don't want to be right on that yellow line down there in each set of corners. And tight entry, loose exit, to conflicting conditions that make it really hard to get a setup underneath you.
Yeah, Richmond is a very unique short track in that it's not like your typical, bullring oval like you see with Martinsville and Bristol and local tracks like South Boston and the such. It's kind of almost like an intermediate masked as a short track. So definitely one of the more unique tracks that we'll see on the schedule this year. And going back to what you mentioned about Tyler Mallon and keeping up the momentum, it also makes it easier when you have to stay on your toes with all these different types of tracks packed in so early in the season, when you've got a super speedway to a high-banked intermediate like Rockingham, and now down to a D-shaped short track like this.
And you'll go to one of the fastest intermediates at Atlanta next week here live on JT. And qualifying has concluded, folks. Dewey, why don't you take them through tonight's starting lineup?
And leading us to the green flag tonight, the man you mentioned had already won the truck and Xfinity race at Rockingham last week. It is Zach Rogers in the 5, trying to make it 3 wins on the year across the 3.
Dewey, let me correct you. Looking for his fourth win of the year. Won the Truck Series race here last night as well.
Wow, great start to the year. So what's that, 4 and 6 races so far, roughly, or 4 and 7?
Yeah, if he can do it tonight.
Yeah, hell of a start to the year for that 5, and keeps it going by winning the pole here for tonight. And last week's winner, Tyler Mallon in the 18, will roll off alongside Zach in second. Back in row 2, it'll be Steve Grant in the 011, and to his outside, it'll be Mac Daddy in the 28. Joshua Clemens in the 92, and Terry Scott will roll off in row number 3 with BSR Nelly and Wiley King back in row 4. Sean Dodson will roll off in 9th with Magoo, the last car to post a time, back there in 10th. Brian Voiles, Daytona winner, back in 11th with BSR Monte Carlo rolling off in 12th. And rounding out our field here for tonight will be BSR Brain Fade in the 49. So I think that leaves us with about 13 or so cars here for tonight. So a bit of a smaller field perhaps than what we've seen so far, but that shouldn't leave us with any shortage of action on the track.
Hey, Greg tuning in, wishing everyone a safe and warm evening here. Of course, frigid temperatures across the Midwest. I don't know if it's across the country per se, but I know it's been pretty cold up here in Michigan, Dewey. I hope you're staying warm out there. It's got a heat wave coming over the weekend. Going to be in the 20s. It's going to be great. But
yeah, it's 20 degrees about here right now, but
yeah.
Which, for a Boston native like myself, is pretty normal for the winter.
Exactly.
So it's just interesting to, see all these places that are going down to like 5 degrees or 0 or whatever that never get that cold. That's like, yeah, that's nothing new here. Like, this is nothing.
We got to be understanding, though, Dewey.
Oh, of course.
We were raised in the cold. It's.
Yeah.
When it gets down to 40 degrees for our Florida friends,
That's beach weather for us, you kidding me?
Greg says it's been down to 10 degrees here in Atlanta. Yeah, that is definitely cold down there, Greg.
Wow.
Welcome in, see Magoo in chat. Wanted to extend here in the open our well wishes to BSR Silver Bullet, not here tonight. Graduate just wanted to send along well wishes. We do as well up here in the booth.
And Silver Bullet always showing up and putting on a good show in that 4 machine whenever he is here, so hopefully he can make it back onto the racetrack here soon. We send, of course, again, our best wishes out to him, and hopefully you can see him back here in no time. About a minute left here in happy hour. Getting some last minute adjustments perhaps on these race cars. Brian Voiles, the fastest time of the 9 to take a time here so far. So we'll see maybe if anybody wasn't a fan of what they had in qualifying and said, let me try to change something up and see if it works for the race. Maybe we'll see that, maybe we won't. Good time, of course, to figure out where your pit stall is and how soon you have to brake to get onto pit road. So happy hour, always a great little time to get all of that squared away. And a bit of a unique thing because obviously we don't have that in NASCAR anymore. So not as much time for the real guys to figure that kind of stuff out.
Not as much time.
Not as much time.
Time is money.
It is. It's honestly still weird, like, I know it's been a thing now for 3 or 4 years, but it's still weird watching, like, a real NASCAR race and knowing that they have, like, 15 or 20 minutes of practice total, and that's all you get for the weekend. With, like, what we used to grow up with, we'd have, like, 2, sometimes 3 practices, and a long qualifying, and a whole warm-up and everything. It's still kind of weird getting used to it, honestly.
I don't like it.
Yeah. Not really feeling it either, but, well, what can you do?
Cry.
That is one option.
Thank you, Craig. It has been a great year here for football. Lions advanced, Dewey. Congratulations on the new head coach for your Patriots.
Yeah, that's quite the change here. Bill Belichick was hired about a week before I was born. So the other day, like that Friday, I think, was the first day of my life that he was not the head coach of the Patriots. So, yeah. Yeah, great week for you, though. I mean, the Lions won their first playoff game in your lifetime.
Yeah.
I mean, your alumni, the school you attended, Michigan, got their first natty in 25 years. And, hey, the Pistons won a game by double digits the other day.
I don't care about the Pistons. If they don't care to play basketball, I'm not going to care to watch them. I digress. Not important. Because we're about to go racing.
Yeah, I care about the Pistons that we have inside the cars on pit road right now.
Exactly. Those are the only Pistons I care about. Cars getting lined up as we wait to command to get engines fired here from Richmond.
Drivers, start your engines!
See Kathy in chat. Welcome. Matt in chat. Again, Matt, send along our well wishes to you, buddy. Wish you were here racing with us tonight.
And no Ricky J or KJ tonight either.
Ricky J's working. KJ, who knows?
And of course, Ricky J and Tyler Mellon had that season-long points battle last year. Good opportunity here for the 18 to maybe start to separate himself very early on in the year tonight.
Hey, gotta take every advantage you can get. 140 laps here tonight from Richmond Raceway. Zach Rogers with control. And away we go. Green flag, we're racing here from Richmond.
Advantage Rogers there on the initial start. Got the great jump there on the bottom and will clear the 18 with ease through turns 1 and 2. As the field gets their way down the back here for the first time tonight.
First side-by-side battle is for the 4th spot. Mac Daddy on the outside of Joshua Clements in the 92. Sporting those Lowe's colors on that car. Jimmy Johnson going into the NASCAR Hall of Fame tomorrow night. Congrats to the 7-time champ.
Yeah, and he increased his schedule for this upcoming year, too. Only ran, I think, 2 or 3 races last year. Got about 9 on tap for this year. Good to see him back in the swing of things with some new sponsors up on that 84 car too. Got one a bit high there in 3 and 4. That's Brain Fade. The 49 looks like he's got it gathered up. He'll drop a couple of spots and be right on his way again.
We talked about in the open getting off to a fast start to the year. Monty Keller into the wall there off turn 2. He collects the car. Ryan Voiles got off to the best start of the year here in BSRs. There's another one on the wall. Nelly around here in turn 4. We'll get back to that story in a moment as Nelly's around.
A quick yellow here on lap number 3.
Looks like...
Not sure if he hit anything, though.
He might have hit the 92.
Yeah, I think the 92 scraped the wall coming out of 2, and Nelly had to take some evasive action to avoid him. And maybe got in a bit too hot into 3.
Yeah, I think that's accurate portrayal of what happened, what we just saw.
Did a nice job, though, of slowing it down very quickly and not hitting the outside wall, and if he did, just kissing it. So that 103 car should be good to go after some floor tire stop, which it looks like a lot of people are going to come down and do here. So pretty much everybody on pit road after about 3 or 4 laps. Bit interesting. As Rogers will lead him down for our first pit stops of the evening, only about 2 minutes after he took the green flag, so the pit crew's at it fairly early on here tonight. Maybe thought they were still trying to get themselves all situated and comfortable for the race, and all of a sudden, nope, you're working already.
They couldn't even eat their snack.
Yeah. And the 5 will win the race off of pit road. Should be just about the same order that they came down on pit road, save for Nelly, perhaps. So it should be a fairly quick yellow here. Looks like Magoo in the 144 stayed out, but I think that was to lead the lap, and he should be coming in here. So it should be, again, about the same order that we were in at the time of caution. Yeah, as you mentioned in the pre-race, Richmond, one of those really unique short tracks, 0.75 miles in length. Cup Series races here are usually 400 laps, so about 1/3-ish of the typical Cup race distance on tap here for tonight. And again, a unique short track that lends itself more towards Iowa than it does a Bristol or a Martinsville.
Iowa on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule this year.
I'm very excited for that. And I'm also excited that the Xfinity cars are going back there again because they never should have left.
I still have to get my Xfinity tickets for that race.
Even
Thanks
if Iowa
for
for
reminding me.
Cup is like a placeholder kind of thing, if the Montreal thing ends up happening next year, I hope they can figure out a way to keep Xfinity on there permanently, because they never should have stopped going there at any point. It's a
Hey,
good little standalone.
more short tracks, right?
Absolutely. Kind of surprised they didn't bring trucks up there too, honestly. But ARCA's there, so you got it's still a
3-day weekend.
triple header
Yeah,
for
yeah.
that weekend. Of course, IndyCar's got its doubleheader again this year, so Iowa's gonna be pumping for the first time in a while with NASCAR coming back. Of course, the Cup Series has its 2 dates here at Richmond every year. Xfinity used to have 2, now down to 1. Trucks come here once as well.
Which they, for a while, weren't coming here at all.
Yeah, they went about 10, 15 years without touching this place, and I think 2019 or 2020 they brought it back.
Yep.
Yeah, fun little place. I think the Pro Series East came here a couple of times as well, around 2013 or so.
Denny Hamlin did his little all-star charity race here a couple times. I don't know if you remember that.
I do. That was a fun little event too. And of course, this is the newer layout of Richmond. This used to be a half-mile oval that looked way more like Bristol back in the 80s. We've had this in the meantime, but the pace lights have gone off. So our 13-car field will get ready to take the green once again. It'll be Zach Rogers, our pole sitter, trying to win his 4th race already of this young season across the 3 levels of racing here in Bomb Squad. Malin, last week's winner, in 2nd. Steve Grant rolls off 3rd. We'll see what they do this time.
And here we go. Rogers with control. Green flag. We're back racing here from Richmond. From Richmond?
From Richmond.
Eliari trying to make some work, get back up inside that top 5 where he was running before that first caution of the night. He's Steve Grant up there in 3rd. He's been there throughout this race. Team Speedland, they've done such a good job here on Thursday nights. Steve's had a bunch of stellar runs.
And Wiley King's had his fair share of runs, or good runs for that team as well.
There you see Wiley in that 095.
They're back in 8th so far, of course, in the back half of the field so far, but we're only like, 4 green flag laps in, so there's still a whole host of time left to change that, of course.
Yeah, he's only in, and we're only this many, and only,
Yeah.
you like that word.
I do.
You got any fans?
I have any fans, I wish. Like
You know-
68 scraped the wall last time by, but no harm, no foul for Brian Voiles.
You don't have a website that's only for your fans?
Well, I do. Not an OnlyFans, though, as Magoo just tried to save it there out of turn 2 and did, but went across basically all 3 lanes of traffic there. Of course, that website, by the way, for those curious, schemehaven.com, your source for NASCAR paint scheme archive. Check it out.
No, Greg, this is Dewey. This one's Dewey tonight. Weaver probably would have one of those, though.
Yeah, that's a conversation for another day.
We have the whole business model planned out. We got a business plan for the next 10 years.
Yeah, JTN2 is actually moving to OnlyFans. There's exclusive
Okay,
content
alright.
coming there now. Oh, sorry, did I spoil that?
Yeah, a little bit. That's okay.
Ah, crap.
Tyler Mallon closing in on Zach Rogers for the lead. Again, Rogers won the Truck Series race here last night, so knows how to get it done here. Tyler Mallon won a couple times last year.
Yeah, look, those two look to be by far the best cars in the field so far. You can see the gap that the two of them are starting to build on 3rd place Steve Grant back in that 011. And while that 11 definitely has looked fast so far tonight, just doesn't look like him and Mac Daddy have what it takes to get by those top 2 so far. Good battle back around 6th. That's Sean Dotson in the 091 with Wiley King right behind him there in the 95. Nelly and Monty Keller.
Oh,
And Nelly's
Nelly.
gonna go for another spin there. This time it's out of turn 2.
Caution.
Looks like the caution will come out for that. So 2 cautions, 2 Nelly spins. So not the start to the night he was looking for, unfortunately, but had done a nice job of trying to regain those lost spots prior to that.
And just goes around. He's kind of on that transition there on the bottom of the racetrack and quite literally sends him for a loop. Ha! Be here all week, folks.
Another one of those little lazy spins there that doesn't cause any damage to the car, but we'll re-rack the field here and get another restart here in just a moment.
No, Greg, oh. As we work this second caution of the night, your second opportunity to make some adjustments, Dewey. And I don't know if you can make too much of an informed decision on what you need out of the race car just yet, but again, it's a good opportunity if you're really struggling to make a change.
Yeah, I think Nelly might want to maybe see if he can try to find an adjustment to tighten something up in that car, but definitely seems to be a bit on the looser side so far in that 103. But you can tell it's fast, though, with the spots he had gotten back before he went around again. So it's a bit of a sacrifice where, maybe tightening it up to prevent those spins might cost you a little bit of speed, perhaps. So we'll see what he ends up deciding to do here, if anything. Race off of pit road is won again by Zach Rogers. Top 5 remains relatively unchanged here. Though I think Joshua Clements did leapfrog Mac Daddy there for 4th. But the top 3 look to be the same.
So, Dewey, we were talking about, of course, NASCAR Hall of Fame tomorrow night. Jimmy Johnson's going in, Chad Knaus is going in, and remind me who else is going in?
Jeez, I can't remember off the top of my head. What I will say, though, is that it's very fitting that Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus are part of the same Hall of Fame class. Let's see, who else did make it this year? Donnie Allison is the other
That's who I
inductee
thought it
this
was.
year.
I just didn't want to be
Janet
wrong.
Guthrie is the
Landmark.
winner of the Landmark Award for Outstanding Contributions. A pretty solid group there. Of course, 2 7-time champions and a pioneer of the modern era of NASCAR.
I believe the Hall of Fame ceremony will be live on Peacock.
I believe you're right.
Tomorrow night. So if you're, if you're watching that Chiefs Dolphins game last week, that put a lot of people into an uproar about streaming.
How many of those people really watched it on Peacock, though?
What?
That playoff game.
23 million.
I don't know. I don't know if of all 23 million of those people actually had a Peacock subscription.
Well, how else would you have watched it?
I'm gonna not gonna
They
out my sources
can't
here.
they can't take that number and include what you're insinuating.
Well, definitely more than 23 million people watched the game. I'll put it that way.
Listen, my philosophy has always been our folks here on JTN, they stream our races every week.
They do, and they do a good job with it.
And they do an excellent job, and they're loud in chat, and they're watching, and they're saying hi, and they're interacting with us throughout these races. They can do Peacock. They're smart.
And hopefully they're all here ready to watch this restart, our second of the night.
Coming back to lap 23.
Zach Rogers will lead us back to the green again. Malin in second. Grant, Clements, and Mac Daddy round out our top 5 here. 21 down, 119 to go. Let's see what the field's got this time.
Rogers with control. Malin there in second. We saw some wheel spin last time. We don't this. Green flag. We're back underway.
Something I'm going to look out for here on this restart is what that 92 of Joshua Clements can do. We saw him get that spot from Mac Daddy off pit road on this last cycle, but can he keep that 28 car behind him here on this run? Nelly already going to work back here on Brain Fade in the 49. That battle for 11th with Magoo just ahead of them in the 144. Nelly trying to go from the top 5 to the back to the top 5 to the back, and maybe for him the top 5 again here as he gets that spot out of turn 4. Top 2 seem to have separated themselves from the rest of the field once again off the restart. The difference this time being that Zach Rogers is also pulling away from Tyler Mallon. So the 18
Joshua Clements in the wall.
The 92 just pancaked the wall in the middle of 1 and 2, and he's coming back down the track with cars coming. Oh, looks like they're all going to avoid him, but
Dude, you know what that looked like?
wow, that was a big hit. What did that look like,
A
Joe?
wheel disconnecting.
Very well possible, and
Get a replay for the folks at home. Because this car takes off towards the wall, middle of the corner. It's not a flat tire. Look at that. It looks like a flat tire, but that's a wheel disconnecting.
yeah, the speed was decreasing as well, so looks like the pedals likely also went with it, which is a really tough break. Again, we were just talking about him off the restart, what he could do, but looks like for him, despite hitting the wall, the car's got some decent speed left in it, but he's definitely going to need a yellow at some point to get as much of that fix as he can. Tough break there, of course, for him in starting off this young season, but still plenty of time perhaps to try to gain that ground back, as we've seen with Nelly so far. Tyler Mallon has caught the back end of Zach Rogers, so just as we thought the 5 was starting to pull away, the 18 has reeled him back in. Two of them still appear to be about half a second or so ahead of the rest of the field, but Mallon making it more even with Rogers once again.
Goes Mallon back to the inside, and it's turns 1 and 2. That Interstate Batteries Toyota Hunt in the lead here. Labani versus Labani at the front of the field.
Yeah, very fitting battle there out of turn 4. Two classic schemes, run by two Labani brothers, as Rogers got the lap at the line, but the preferred groove is going to be the 18s here through 1 and 2. And for the first time tonight, we've got a lead change, and it's last week's winner, Tyler Mallon, taking over the top spot.
We saw the 18 starting to pressure the 5 the last time when the caution came out for the 103 spinning off of turn 2. We saw the 18 making up the ground, applying the pressure. This time gets the job done, gets around, and now trying to set sail. Already has about a car length and a half gap back to Zach Rogers.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if maybe Zach used up a bit more of his tires on that restart trying to pull away from the 18, and if he did, looks like that was a bit of a detriment to him as he's now losing ground to the 18. So if indeed that is what he did, could be a beneficial strategy on a late race restart, but maybe not this early on in the race.
Yeah. Beneficial.
Yeah.
You know what would be beneficial for the folks at home?
What's that?
If they hit the subscribe button if they haven't already.
Absolutely.
And then they gotta click the bell icon, because guess what, Dewey?
Guess what's that?
They'll be notified the next time we go live, which is next Thursday night, as the BSR Cup Series heads to the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Coverage kicking off at 9:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Then Sunday, January 28th, it's the debut of the LA Coliseum NR2003 track, as the Fast Renegade Cup Series hosts their clash January 28th. And then Wednesday, January 31st, TMP Aero 88 Series heads to the Bristol Motor Speedway. Coverage of all those races will be live right here only on JTN, presented by... Points at you, Dewey.
Schemehaven.com.
Look at that.
Yeah.
How's that coming? How's Scheme Haven going?
It's going good. It's going very good. Going pretty good for Tower Mellon, too. Pulling out to an even bigger lead now on the 5 of Zach Rogers. And back to that upcoming schedule, I think a lot of people have been waiting for an NR2003 version of the LA Coliseum. So I'm sure that'll be a very popular hit when that broadcast happens. I know I've been looking forward to it. Of course, Atlanta next weekend, never a bad race either.
Nope.
Continues the great diversity that this schedule has to kick off the season. Looks like the field's starting to spread out a little bit as we're, I think, almost half a track between first and about 8th right now.
We were
Everybody's
watching
kind
the battle for third here between Steve Grant and Mac Daddy.
Yeah, they've been at it since the restart, pretty much, or rather since the 92 got in the wall and allowed Mac Daddy to get that 4th spot back. Really the only cars that are anywhere near each other on track right now besides the 92 and the 028 back here battling for, looks like, 9th. So pretty spread out field, everybody just minding their P's and Q's, doing their own thing for right now as we continue to tick away the laps as we hit 100 to go last time by. Oh, big slide there from Steve Grant out of turn 2. He about Tokyo drifted that all the way out of the corner. And despite the save, it's going to drop him a couple of spots here as Mac Daddy and Sean Dotson will both go on by. And again, that will drop the 11 car back to 5th. But man, that was a great save.
As he saves it, that allows the 28 to kind of isolate himself. John Dotson sitting there in 4th in that Buick. Is that a Buick?
That is a Buick.
No, like the commercials.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a Buick. Buick's hip. It's stylish, yo.
Yeah, the lone Buick in the field. Now, I mentioned it before. That's one of the things I always like about doing these races is you get a wide range of manufacturers and models when you tune in to watch these races. Of course, we got a older style Camry leading this thing. We got an SS back in 2nd. We got an older Fusion in 3rd. Then we got a Buick back in 4th.
And a Pontiac in 5th.
And a newer Camry there in 6th. A Camaro in 7th. Another Pontiac. Another Camaro, an SS, and a Camaro. And a Mustang. We got 3 different models of Fords and Toyotas going on here, and a Dodge back there with brain fade. So always a great manufacturer championship battle here in Palm Squad as well.
And that Dodge of brain fade, let me tell you, the Dodge Dart is one of the best looking cars ever, in my opinion, for that segment, that small compact sedan. But,
it is a good looking car.
He's lucky it's not an actual Dodge Dart. Because boy howdy, they have reliability issues. That thing's been pretty reliable for him.
Good looking template though in this game.
Oh yeah.
Whoever made that template originally did a whale of a job with it. Something to keep an eye on, of course, as this run goes on. It's going to be the tire conservation, of course, with the slide that Steve Grant had out of turn 2. I'm sure his tires are definitely worn more than anyone else's.
Yeah.
And we've got Terry Scott in the 66 and Nelly breathing down his neck out of turn 2. So, unfortunately for Steve Grant, he might not be done dropping spots here. At least until this run concludes.
Yeah, those tires got to be gone.
Yeah, it looks like the fuel mileage is going to be roughly, or the run rather, be about 60, 65-ish laps. And I think we're approaching about halfway on that run now.
Okay.
So I think we're going to see these guys somewhere between lap 80 and 90-ish. So see what they all elect to do when they get there.
What would you do?
I mean,
You
at that
pit?
point in the race, forward fuel. Then I think that's the easy choice to make. If you can stretch it to about lap 90, that puts you good to the end on fuel.
Well, what? No, wasn't there a show that was like, what would you do? What is that? What show is that?
That is a question that I do not have an answer for.
It's on ABC. Somebody help me.
We got to use our chat lifeline to get our answer.
Yeah, right? Who wants to be a millionaire?
Well, somebody asked Nelly who wants to be the 5th place runner in this race, and he answered before anybody else did, because he got by Steve Grant very quickly there in that 011, and Nelly, after his 2 spins, now finds himself back in the top 5, and with the laps he's putting down right now, he's running faster than both Mac Daddy and Sean Dodson are about roughly the same. So, would not shock me if that 103 starts knocking on the door of those 3rd and 4th place cars soon.
Comeback driver of the night, Nelly in the 103?
Oh, absolutely. At least so far.
Greg in chat asks, how are you able to tell the manufacturer of these cars? So we are just looking at the decals that they got on them. I know sometimes the streams come through a little bit granular, a little bit grainy. So it can be harder to tell a lot of times watching the stream back, but we're just looking at decals. I don't know. Knowing Greg, though, there might be a joke there. So maybe...
Entirely possible.
Oh. Greg's a jokester in chat. And I love him for it.
If there was a joke there, I'm going to hear the whoosh over my head in about 20 seconds.
Pretty much. I'm also a little under the weather. But, you know.
Oh, sorry, I must have given it to you.
Nah, my roommate did.
I think Monty Keller's about to hear a whoosh. He just got the wall there out of turn 4, and he's got the 92 to his inside. Battle for 9th. Give it to the 92 very easily. Another contender, perhaps, for comeback driver of the race. Of course, had that huge hit to the wall while running in 4th. Dropped all the way back to 12th, and he's now back up in that 9th spot without the aid of a caution or a pit cycle. So, despite all that damage, he's gotten 3 spots back with tires that are obviously a bit more worn. So, if he can catch a yellow, he might not be out of this thing yet.
Hey, you want to hear this news that just came across my desk?
Sure.
Ohio State's hiring Bill O'Brien
Really?
to be their offensive coordinator. Mac Daddy looking to the inside of Sean Dotson for 3rd.
Don't be messing with me. Are they really?
Yeah, they are.
Joe. Oh, no, you're not kidding.
No.
Wow.
Yeah. Extra, read all about it. Mac Daddy just lost spot to Nelly. Now, Nelly's going to try to get by Dotson in the 091. You talked about that 103 having a little bit more pace than these two. We know these drivers can get to about 60 laps on a tank of fuel. We went back green around lap 23. We can get to that 80 lap mark. We should be good to make it on that one stop.
Yeah, it's going to put these guys somewhere between lap 80 and lap 90. With a run that long, we will be good to the end, as that 103 is on rails right now. Joey is up to 3rd now.
Mac Daddy getting around Sean Dotson.
Sean Dotson.
Here comes Steve Grant. This 091 has gotten wicked here in these last 20 laps of the run.
Yeah, I think those tires are starting to fall off a cliff for him there, but I guess that means the 011's done a pretty good job of conserving what he has left of his tires to not fall off more than he initially did.
Have you ever fallen off of a cliff?
No.
Okay, that's good.
Do.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't think that'd be very comfortable.
It could be.
I don't know. Looks like we just had one taker on pit road, the 68 of Brian Voiles, our Daytona winner. And he'll rejoin the field and will likely lose the lap, at least temporarily here, as he gets back up to speed. So I don't think he's going to be good to the end pitting this early, so
No.
off cycle for the 68. Off cycle for Mac Daddy as well, as the 28 now on pit road getting a stop done. So
Don't.
perhaps some short pitting here to maybe get some better tires for the last run to the end.
Yeah, but you can't make it on fuel.
I mean, all I can think of is that they're planning on pitting again before this thing's over and hoping that they'll have
You're
about
hoping for
20
a
laps with
caution.
fresh tires.
You're hoping for a caution at that point. I mean, it's about a second and a half of fall off.
And the 091's coming down too.
Unless their tires are just that shot, Dewey.
Possibly. That's now 3 guys that have come down pit road well before the fuel window is opened. So either the tires are wearing that fast, or we've got some guys that are short pitting and hoping for a run to the end with way fresher tires than those that elect to just stop one more time to the end. So definitely some split strategy going on as Mac Daddy just slid about halfway through turn 3 right there in the 28. Keeps it pointed in the right direction.
Well, it feels good to have 4 fresh tires.
Oh, it definitely does.
Trying to test the limits again, find where they are.
Definitely trying to find that balance, though, again, between fresh tires and guaranteeing yourself to be good on fuel. Worth noting as well that given the slow pit speed, I think it's 40 miles per hour here at Richmond, the much slower green flag stop when you count during the amount of time spent getting to your stall and then exiting pit road. So you're losing potentially 2 laps pitting under green here as opposed to 1 at most other racetracks. So it makes it that much of a riskier decision to go ahead and do that, and if a caution doesn't come out at any point, you have to pit again before the end, then you're going to end up down maybe 3-4 laps with really no chance to get them back. So it's quite the risk these guys are taking electing to pit now.
I don't like it. It's a risk. It's too risky. Gonna gain a lot of time, but it's too risky.
Looks like we hit the halfway point a few laps ago. Like 72 down, 68 to go here. So still another handful of laps before the window to the end on fuel is going to open up. About 4 or 5 laps from now. Looks like Terry Scott, the 66, is going to come in. Was running in 7th. At the time. I think that gives us now 5 cars that have come in prior to that fuel window. See if we get any more. Worth noting as well that 92 of Joshua Clements has actually passed Steve Grant on track on pace. So that 92, despite that hit to the wall, car still has quite a bit of speed left in it.
think that's a team that's probably hoping for a caution here to kind of level the playing field.
For sure.
Also,
Got
it
Monty.
helped keep a couple of those fast cars that came down early lap down.
And perhaps a bit of strategy there to stay out. Looks like Monty Keller has just completed a stop there in the 028. A lot of damage still, though, to the right side of that car.
And we're now in the window to make it to the end of the race.
Yeah, so would not shock me now. I mean, I think the 028's down a couple of laps, but again, when you lose almost 2 laps on a green stop at a track like this, I mean, if you can stay out all the way to the end, I mean, when the leaders inevitably have to pit, you'll probably get those laps back, and at that point it'll just be a matter of whether they can catch back up to you on those fresh tires or not. So it'll start to even out later on, but definitely makes this split strategy that much more intriguing. Just don't know. Steve Grant hits pit road in the 11, so he'll be the first of our cars that will be good to the end after their stop. We'll see when everybody else decides to join him. Nelly's going to this time by. And it looks like Clements will as well. And Wiley King there in the 95.
And as you said, that's an important thing to note. We are good to go at the end of this race on this tank of fuel.
Yeah, no worries for everybody from Steve to Wiley to Clements, as Brain Fade is very slow on the front stretch. Or was, or is, or something. Not sure what might have happened there.
Here comes Malin and Zach Rogers, both on pit lane.
As our 2 leaders, Magoo will join them as well in the 144. Going to be a bit of an extended stop for the 92, getting all that damage repaired from his earlier contact with the wall. Just avoids the 18 coming into his stall there. And Brain Fade will be coming in now in the 49, and I think with Brain Fade in, I think that is going to conclude this round of stops now. I think that's everybody.
So Mac Daddy was able to get by Tyler Malin.
At least for now, but obviously the 18 and the 5 are going to have way fresher tires than that 28 is, as he already pitted about 15 laps ago. So he's got the lead for now, but I imagine that at some point the 18 will likely get back by the 28 again. So we're going to cycle out with the 95, the 68, the 92, and the 144 are all 1 lap down. Everybody else on the lead lap here. But with Wiley King having fresher tires, he does have a chance to potentially unlap himself here in a lap or so.
That's weird, Matt. I haven't seen that happen before. Have you seen that happen before? You have to like restart the stream to be able to see all of the live chat?
I don't know if I've ever had the stream just stop like that before. I think that's only happened if I go to a different tab and not click on the stream for a while. But if I'm just watching it, I don't think that's ever happened.
Yeah. Mac Daddy gonna let Wiley King on by.
It gives us, I think, 9 cars now on the lead lap. As Wiley King will unlap himself there down the back. And the 18 starting to catch the 28 as well. So we're going to have another lead change here pretty soon, barring a caution right now. Down the backstretch they go. The 18 with the run to the inside and into turn 3 they go. Mac Daddy's going to let him go there on the inside, and Malin back to the lead here in the 18 to complete lap 88. See if Rogers can try to catch and pass the 28 as well. The 2 fastest cars of the night. up to this point. I think the 28 might have been pressing the issue a bit too much. I think he really wore his tires off on that little run there. He is falling off quick.
Oh, that could be, Matt. That could be. Yeah, I mean, he's been out there for almost 30 laps now, right? I mean,
Yeah, working on it, as Rogers will get by him there in the 5.
it's kind of where that was
second.
about halfway through the run was where we saw the sharpest dip in performance on the Goodyears. So
I think he pit around lap 67, 68, so yeah, almost 25 laps now.
So expect him to come around lap 100, maybe a little bit after.
Yeah, with the fuel run, I think that puts him somewhere around 120, 125, but
I don't think you're going to stretch it on fuel, though.
I don't know. I mean, I think you can stretch it that far in fuel if you're Mac Daddy. I don't think you can make these tires last that long, though.
Right. Well, and going to the end of the fuel that you have on board doesn't do you much. You know what I mean?
No.
Part of going for a two-stop strategy as opposed to the one-stop is you're going to have fresh tires twice, and you want to maximize that amount of time that you have those fresh tires. So pit sooner rather than later.
I mean, personally, with the drop-off that we're seeing in the tire performance after about 20 laps, you know, if the end of the fuel run is about 125, I would aim to hit around maybe 115 or 120. So that way the race ends right before that tire drop-off were to happen.
Yeah.
And then you can truly maximize what you've got in them. Of course, all of that reliant on whether this goes green all the way, but a lot of the field's spread out right now, so we'll see if that ends up coming true or not. Power Malin trying to catch the 95 of Wiley King and put him back a lap down after unlapping himself on the 28 a short time ago.
That can be frustrating, can't it? They do all that work and
just to get the same end result.
Yeah.
I wonder if he'll try to hold him off here. I don't know how long he'll be able to do it, but I wonder if he... Oh, never mind. Looks like he decided to let him go there. I was going to say, we've definitely seen instances in real life of guys that really try to fight the leader to keep their lead lap position, but Wiley decided to just let him on go. So I'm sure he'll do that to Rogers here as well in about a lap or two.
Also, don't look now, but I think Zach Rogers is closing the gap just a little bit. Looks like he's getting a little bit closer.
Yeah, got by the 95, so now they both have nobody immediately ahead of them. So Malin does have a couple of lapped cars just ahead. But it looks like it'll take him probably 2-3 laps to catch them at this point. However, if he catches them sooner than that, it could give Rogers the opportunity to pull back even and try to maybe get that lead back. As Malin catches brain fade, looks like that'll put him 2 laps down in the 49. Coming up on Terry Scott now in the 66.
Caught him at a precarious spot, huh?
He did, and that's going to put Terry 1 lap down. So Wiley King no longer in the free pass spot in that 95. I think Steve Grant, the next one up, he'll also go a lap down if he is passed here by the 18. So now Zach's got to try to maneuver himself around these two guys into turn 3.
And this is where Tyler can kind of make up some of that ground a little bit too, right? It's how well do you navigate the lap traffic? How well do you get around it? Zach Rogers, I don't know.
Oh my
He's
goodness.
doing a great job of it. My
Yeah, he
goodness.
tried to pass him up high and then went low instead, but it worked. You could tell he wanted to get that done as quickly as possible. Hopefully for Zach, he didn't burn up too much of his tires there trying to do that. So the gap is just about a second on the dot between the 18 and the 5 that time by. And it's another 9 seconds back to Mac Daddy in 3rd. So these two are in a class of their own here tonight. So Malin and the 18 entering turn 3 right now. And actually Mac Daddy just came down pit road. So he'll be yielding 3rd here to Nelly.
Where is Nelly? There's Nelly.
And he's about 15 seconds behind the 18.
Jeez.
Yeah, they have really put a huge gap between them here. As it looks like Brian Boyles is going to be coming down pit road this time in the 68. What should be his last stop of the evening. Looks like Sean Dotson's going to come down pit road this time in the 091. Steve Grant's been put a lap down by the leader, so we're down to 5 cars now on the lead lap as they cycle through. Oh, Monty Keller hit the wall right in front of Steve Grant, and they're both going to spin and hit the inside wall. Right in front of Zach Rogers, who managed to avoid them both spinning.
That brings out a caution.
Caution out in the middle of the pit cycle.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
And that is, like you said, right in front of Zach Rogers. And right behind race leader Tyler Malin. Here's the replay. On board with the 5. You're trying to hunt down a guy for the lead and going through lap traffic. This is the last thing you want to see in front of you. Bam! Zach barely gets through there.
Yeah, I mean, that was one heck of a job by the 5 to miss that, but yeah, I think Monty Keller just got a bit wide out of turn 2, and when he hit the wall, it just shot him back down into the 11, and at that point, they were both along for the ride.
You want to shake things up a little bit?
We've definitely shook things up a bit here.
Might give Zach Rogers an opportunity, too, to get the lead off pit road with that first pit stall. Also, Nelly in the 103. He's in this race for the first time tonight because he's been at the track position deficit after the 2 spins early. Now going to be on equal footing with the 2 guys that have dominated this thing. Malin wins the race off pit road.
And it's a tough break for Steve Grant as well because he was in the free pass spot. But because the incident happened and he got into it, I think it's going to go to Wiley King in the 95 instead. So not only does the 11 end up in the wreck, but he's going to end up trapped a lap down after it as well. And I think that Joshua Clements, or no, not Joshua Clements, I think Sean Dotson might be the one trapped a lap down here as well. We'll have to see when the scoring updates, but there might be a car or 2 that get trapped a lap down because that came out in the middle of the pit cycle.
Rogers coming back down.
So not what Mac Daddy, for example, wanted to see is he had just come down on Dotson as well.
So, Matt, off of turn 2, Monty Keller got into the outside wall, made contact with Steve Grant. They spun right in front of second place Zach Rogers. Brings out your third caution of the night. We reset them after pit stops with Tyler Mallon out in front, Nelly in second, Rogers now in third. Like we had some wave rounds too, so they're getting those set up now before we get the one to go. But
Yeah, I think we're still waiting for scoring to update.
Brings the leaders back together. Of course.
So, something interesting, of course, you mentioned earlier that the fall off with tires seems to be at about the 20-ish lap mark of a run. We're going to restart with about 26 or 27 laps to go. So the fall off, in theory, is going to happen right before the end of this race. So could we see a situation here where a guy like Zach Rogers or Nelly tries to conserve tires for the first couple laps of this run and then goes to push it the rest of the way? Or do we see a situation where somebody tries to get as much out of it as they can and build up enough of a lead where even if they start to fall off, they still have a cushion to work with at the end?
And Dewey, how aggressive are these guys here on this restart? And does that give us a couple more cautions that shorten this race? So that's the other thing to think about here as we get ready to take the green flag coming to lap 115 of 140. It'll be 26 laps to go.
Definitely going to see some aggression because of when this caution came out, the field is not in order at all right now.
Nope. Gonna be fun. Here we go. Malin with control. Green flag. We're back underway. Top 3 on your screen are the top 3 in the race, however. Nelly there in second, Rogers in third.
Yeah, Wiley King in the 095 is the 4th place car, and you see him about 8th in line right now. And Joshua Clements behind him in the 92 is scored as the leader.
Oh?
I don't know if that's an error, but it says the 92 is leading right now. But I think he's 5th. So I don't know what the deal there is, but somehow the 92 is apparently leading this race.
Yeah, I think that might be an error.
I'm not sure what's happening. I don't know if he got scored a lap by accident or what happened, but magically he's about 9th or 10th in line, and he's scored as the leader. So we'll see what the deal there is. Either way, we got 3 cars that are in the lead lap, and they're all over each other right now at a turn 2.
What more could you ask for?
Mallon, the first one, Nelly, the second one, Rogers, the third one, and the answer to that is not much more. Yeah, so I am super confused as to how the 92 randomly got the lead right as we took the green, but we'll see if that's a thing that has to get sorted out post-race or not. If it isn't and he genuinely took the lead, I mean, what a stroke of luck that was. And it looks like it's been fixed now. He's now scored in 6th. So perhaps he was scored in an additional lap or something happened there. So he's battling now with Wiley King into turn 3. That is for position. Brian Voiles and Mac Daddy, though, are on different laps than those two. So Mallon now scored the leader once again. Rogers gets by Nelly for second. And at this one, I think those two are going to have to burn their stuff up to keep pace with the 18.
Plenty laps to go here from the Richmond Raceway. Tyler Mallon has dominated once again out in front of the field. And that Interstate Batteries Toyota Zach Rogers, last night's Truck Series winner, trying to go back-to-back nights with a race win. Going to need some help to catch that 18, it would appear. And Nelly there in third. He has been the comeback driver of the night. 2 early spins. He's rallied back up into the third spot in the 103.
Yeah, that 18 is just hooked up right now, and we mentioned earlier the aggression and whether you have to burn your tires up or try to save them on that last run, but if this thing goes green to the end, there's not really much that Rogers and Nelly can do, because if they burn their stuff up to try to catch him, then obviously Mallon will have fresher tires for the last little stint to pull back away, so they're really in a lose-lose situation back there if this thing runs to the end.
wonder how much time the 18 crew puts into the setup work. And I wonder if we ask the question if we'll get the accurate answer.
My guess is a lot. Because it seemed like, you know, for the first half of the race or so, like, yeah, the 18 had pulled a little bit away, but it still felt like that the 5 was clearly up there in terms of speed. But then, since about lap 60 or lap 70, you can definitely tell that the 18's got the superior car.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to be that way a lot of weeks, where eventually, somewhere in the race, the 18 just finds that last little bit that he needs that makes the difference. And right now, tonight seems to be no different.
Matt, no, Keith isn't out. He's just he got trapped in that pit cycle. So when we had that last caution, he'd come down pit lane to take his second stop. He was on the 2-stop strategy to the end. He's got caught a lap down. So he's back there in 11th, 1 lap down, trying to scratch and claw his way back up. He's also got older tires on that car than some of his competitors around him.
And unfortunately, he's got 3 guys ahead of him that are also 1 lap down. So he's
a ways away from old.
Yeah, not in the best of positions right now in that 28 machine. I think the lucky dog right now is Steve Grant car, the 011. So if the yellow were to come out, he at least would get back on the lead lap, who was involved in that last caution. So again, we've got 7 cars on the lead lap. We've got 12 to go at the stripe. So not looking too good for anybody behind Magoo, who's about to go lap down himself. Solid run though for Magoo tonight. About middle of the field here. Kept it clean all night. He'll let Zach Rogers go here out of turn 4. Not a bad night by any means. So we're coming up to 10 to go this time by, and it's getting to the point now where the 5 and the 103 are basically going to have to throw a Hail Mary at the 18 to see if it works. Because that 18 clearly has just got the best stuff right now.
Kind of setting the pace right now. If you're Tyler Mallon, you don't need to be doing that.
Yeah, that's the one thing you don't want to do.
Just take it easy, buddy. Just take it easy.
I'm sure Zach Rogers and Nelly wouldn't mind if he did that a couple more times, but close call there nonetheless. And I think also, I mean, obviously the top 3 still, you know, filter themselves out to the front, but I think this last run may have been a bit disappointing for some of those in the field that wanted to try to get a few more spots, just with how disorganized the lineup ended up being. With some guys that were lapped down, starting up in like 4th, and some guys are on the lead lap towards the tail end of the pack, and Monty Keller's going to spin in the middle of turn 3 and 4, and we're going to have a shootout to the end.
Oh, man.
Wow.
You like drama?
I like drama.
Oh, and
because we got some right here.
buckle in.
Wow.
Replay of what happened. Monty Keller trying to get to the inside. Terry Scott. A little too aggressive into the corner. Aggressive goes around.
Indeed it did. So just like that, Tyler Mallon is now going to find himself with about, I mean, I think we're going to get what, maybe 2 laps perhaps? Is that it? I mean, they're on lap 135 right now. We might end up with like a 1-lap shootout to end this race. We'll have to see, but if it does go back green, I mean, this puts the 5 and the 103 right back up with the 18 to potentially steal this one away from him. Wow, wow, wow. Steve Grant will get the lucky dog. Joshua Clements and Wiley King pit as lead lap cars for 4 tires and fuel. 92 trying to get a little bit more of that damage fixed from earlier.
Looks like these leaders, they're gonna just stay out, Dewey, and
You have
see-
to. I mean,
see where the cards fall.
I mean, if it goes back green, you're going to have only a lap or two. And with only a lap or two and no green-white checkers, you have to keep the position you have. You just don't have time to bank on a couple green-white checkers happening or whatnot. It's the last lap is 140 regardless of whether it's green or yellow. So if I'm those top 3, I'm not risking anything else, but it is kind of funny because basically everybody else just pit.
Oh, you're laughing at him. That's not very nice.
Terry Scott stayed out in the 66. He is on the lead lap in 4th. There's Wiley King and Clements, so we're going to have the top 6 in order on the lead lap for this restart at least, if it does go back green. But everybody else finding themselves now on pit road, basically with nothing to lose, really. I mean, they're all guaranteed to finish 1 lap down at this point. So likely just some points battling between all these guys for this last little shootout.
Oy vey.
Yeah,
Wait.
I think...
How do we
I
get
think-
here?
How did we get here? So, we're on lap 138, and the pace lights are still on. So,
It's gonna be a 1-lap shootout.
if we cross the stripe and the lights stay on, the race will end under caution, but if
Correct.
we cross the line and they go off, it's a 1-lap shootout.
Correct.
So we'll see what the pace car and the officials decide to do here. A little bit of suspense going into it here.
A little bit.
Will we have the 1-lap shootout, or will Tyler Mallon in the 18 win this thing under caution? Let's see. I'm secretly hoping the lights go out, I gotta be honest. Survey says...
Yeah.
Alright. So we will have a 1-lap shootout to determine our race winner tonight at Richmond. Tyler Mallon's been the best car all night in that 18 machine, trying to go back-to-back to start off the season. Zach Rogers, our pole sitter in the 5, trying to go 4 wins already across the 3
Race
levels
series.
of racing, and to sweep the weekend here at Richmond. Nelly looking for his first win of the year. Terry Scott, Wiley King, Joshua Clements, all also looking for their first wins on the young season. We got 1 lap to decide it all. Who's going to come out on top?
You need a good restart here if you're the 18, the 5, or the 103. See how this goes off of turn 4. Fans are on their feet. They're not going to sit back down here in this one because it's only 1 lap to go here from Richmond as
Whoa!
Rogers is to the outside.
What a restart by Zach Rogers in the 5. They're going to be side by side here going through turns 1 and 2. Mallon's got the preferred line on the bottom, but I think Rogers might have a bite there on the top. Can he get a crossover move down to the bottom? I don't think he can, but can he power by on the top?
He sent it on that outside at your Death Craver. 1 to go as Tyler Mallon comes across the line and wins here at Richmond. Zach Rogers second.
Got a bit of a wreck there after the stripe with Terry Scott, but Zach Rogers gave it everything he had, but 1 lap just wasn't enough time.
See a replay of it. On that restart, Rogers just times it perfectly.
Can't time it any better
A little
than
bit of
that.
wheel spin from the 18 as well. And this is where you were talking, Dewey, as he come off of turn 2. This is where you were talking about maybe the 5 trying to cross over, trying to get back to the inside. Tyler doesn't allow him to do that.
He did not, and we did have a spin going into turn 3 as well on that last lap. I think Mac Daddy think he got a bit too hot there into 3 and got into the back of Magoo, who looped it around through 3 and 4. And Mac Daddy definitely felt bad about that one and slowed down in time to let Magoo get back by him for the position.
Well, Tyler Mallon brings it around, and he'll get to burn it down for the fans here at Richmond once again. Second win in 3 races to start the year for the 18 team as they continue their dominant stretch here in the Bomb Squad Racing Cup Series.
Yeah, burning it down for the crew guys here. Arguably won him that race on the previous restart by getting off first over Zach Rogers, and a very dominant win once again for that 18 team.
We'll move on to our post-race coverage. Get results on your screens here in mere moments, folks. Again, can't thank you enough for tuning in to JTN here this evening. Make sure if you haven't already, drop a like on the video and subscribe. Again, we ask you to do that each and every week. It helps support us. It helps get these broadcasts out to more and more people. We get these broadcasts out to more and more people. It gives these drivers a larger and larger platform to show off their skills, to promote their leagues, what they have going on. Again, make sure you hit the like button and you are subscribed. Everyone that started tonight's race finished. That's awesome to see that everyone stuck through here tonight. I mean, do a good little race from Richmond this evening.
Oh, absolutely. Had a lot of good battling throughout the night. Again, even though it was a bit of a smaller field than usual, again, no shortage of action throughout this pack. And at the end, it was a one-lap shootout that the dominant car came out on top of.
See those results on your screens at home. All right, we're still waiting for our drivers to make their way into the media center. Oy vey. But you see Tyler Mallon, Zach Rogers, and Nelly, your top 3. Joshua Clements ends up coming home with the top 5 after that heavy hit to the outside wall after what looked like a controller or wheel disconnecting. Terry Scott rounds out your top 5 in the 66. Wiley King, again, we talked about Team Speedland. 095 and 011, 6th and 7th tonight. Strong runs for both of those cars. Sean Dotson, Monty Keller, and Magoo, your top 10 tonight. You talked about Mac Daddy with the late contact there. With the 144, he finishes 11th. Brain Fade, Brian Voiles round out your field here of 13 this evening. Let's go ahead and head on down into Victory Lane and talk with the driver of the number 18 Interstate Batteries Toyota. Second win of the year for Tyler Mallon. Tyler, you got a copy?
I got a copy, Joe.
All right. How many hours did you spend on the setup this week?
Not many, actually. I just kind of kept the same car that I had from last season in the second fall race.
Okay.
Or the second Richmond race, I should say. But,
how, we touched on it last week a little bit, but carrying momentum, obviously it was an abbreviated off season this year with the season starting here in January, so a little less time to enjoy that championship here from the BSR Cup Series, but how have you been able to so successfully capture the momentum of last year, translate it to this year? Is it you haven't changed a thing? Is it you look at yourself, you look at the car, you look at the field a little bit differently now? Are the expectations and the goals the same? Are they different? What's kind of helped you keep the momentum here into 2020?
Well, it certainly helps that we're starting off the season at like 7 or 8 great tracks for me. We've got Atlanta coming up, then Darlington, then Bristol and Texas and Martinsville. And those are always tracks I feel like I always have a good shot of being in contention for the win. We did a bit of testing of the off season. I think the track we tested the most was Charlotte after the disaster of last fall. Looking forward to that. And we took some of the things we learned at Charlotte and applied them to other tracks as well. So that definitely has been helping a lot. As far as keeping momentum from last season, how do I say it? It's I'm looking at it. I came into this season with a pretty fresh mentality, actually. I just want to come out and do the best I can every race. Second at Daytona was great because it's a plate track. You never know how it's going to go. And then Rockingham, one of my favorite tracks, got the win there. So I'm just coming in and doing the best I can, honestly.
Well, the best you can do is pretty damn good, Tyler. A race win here tonight from Richmond. Congratulations on that. You lead 103 of the 140 laps. Before we let you go, celebrate this one and start preparing for next week because we know that you're probably already preparing for Atlanta. Want to give you the opportunity. You got great partners on the car. You got great folks supporting you. You got great folks to shout out. Floor is yours. You know what to do.
Well, first off, thanks to you guys for broadcasting every week. Brian and Kathy Voiles for sponsoring the series. Magoo and everyone here for putting on the show every week and letting me be a part of it. Interstate Batteries for being on the car, and Zach for racing McLean at the end there.
Tyler, again, as always, a pleasure to get the opportunity to talk with you after these races. Congratulations on the victory here tonight from Richmond. Again, I would say, I normally say I hope we get to talk with you. I know we're going to get to talk with you throughout the rest of the year because you've been so fast and so good here on Thursday nights. Congratulations on all the success. Here's to much more, and we hope to be talking with you again soon.
Thank you so much.
Tyler Mallon, driver the number 18, your race winner here tonight from Richmond. Let's go ahead and bring in our second place finisher. He's the driver of the number 5, Zach Rogers. Zach, you got a copy?
What's good, Joe?
I mean, you're pretty good. Second place run here tonight. Pole as well. You won the truck race last night. What more did you need this evening to seal the deal?
Joe. This is the only time you're getting asked this question all season. I'm just letting you know. Okay. This is the only time I'm answering this question.
Okay.
We could have pit there, but then we didn't know if other people were going to pit behind us. That could have helped us out. We did go back down a second time under that yellow before to fill the car up with gas because we had forgotten to fill it up with gas. Thankfully, there was only Nelly on the lead lap behind us, so it made it an easy decision to pit again. But I mean, it was really hard to catch Tyler. We were kind of even with him on the long run. But if I ran as hard as he did at the beginning of the run, we probably would have looped it. So I don't really have an answer to your question.
Okay.
I mean, I guess what more I needed is I needed to pit, and I needed Nelly and Terry to follow me in, and Wiley and Josh probably would have pit anyway. And then I could have driven by Tyler on the outside. But I mean, it is what it is. Our goal tonight was second, so I'm happy we got it.
Well, you almost had first there. A heck of a restart at the end. The 18, a little bit of wheel spin. What did you think about trying to pull that crossover off of turn 2? I know Dewey up here in the booth called it out right away that maybe he can make that move. Looked like he had enough momentum though to stay to the outside. What was there a thought to try to dive back to the inside, or was it just a kind of a if I can make it stick on the outside and work, that's what I'm going to take? Or restart.
So actually on the restart, because
did you jump it?
No.
Okay, all right.
He spun the tires, Joe.
I
What
know.
are you talking about,
I know
Joe?
he spun the tire.
He spun the tires.
Making sure.
He's still a little bit of human being in that robot, you know? Anyway, so he spun the tires, and I was like, oh, I'm going to go right to his outside here. And then we were approaching the corner, and I was like, in the split second, I was like, my setup has a third gear. Like, I don't have third and fourth the same. Sometimes we set it up like that on the shorties.
Yeah.
So I was like, I've got a little bit of gear in third. I'm going to give it a shot. So I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. So I kept it in third, and man, the tires didn't want to grip. So I don't know if we would have had some more momentum if I had just plopped it in fourth. We had a similar kind of battle at the end of the race last night. I had a side-by-side battle with Ricky J, and I was actually on the inside. But I knew once I got off a 2 tonight that since I didn't have any momentum, it was over, because 1 and 2, you can kind of get a good run on the top, but 3 and 4, you want to be on the bottom. So, yeah, there was no thought crossing it over there. It was,
Okay.
I was just going to try and
See if it worked, and if it did, it did. If it didn't, it didn't.
Yeah.
Well, Zach, again, a stellar run here for you in this 5 team. You guys got some great momentum here to start the year. Before we let you go, I want to give you the opportunity. Of course, got some new partners on the car, got some leaving as well. Got great people to thank, got great things to promote. The floor is yours. You know what to do.
Yeah, first got to thank Kellogg's Cornflakes, first race on the season for them here. And this car will have DuPont back on next week at Atlanta. Got to thank DuPont as always, Bass Pro Shops and Airheads. We'll see those schemes out later this year. Got to thank my truck sponsors too, Rockwell Automation, Steve's Antioxidant Tea, Xfinity sponsors, Corsair, and Lowe's. Almost forgot all my sponsors, Joe. That's bad. I shouldn't forget my sponsors.
It's getting late.
Yeah, it's getting late. Gotta thank you guys here at JTN for broadcasting. Gotta thank Brian and Kathy Voiles Trucking for putting the show on. Gotta thank the guys at Bomb Squad Racing for giving me this place to race. Wonderful. I've been having a ton of fun so far this year, and gonna keep having fun as the year continues. I got to thank you again as well for our Death Craver One to Go partnership. Check out Death Craver, spelled Craver with a K, on Amazon. It's a book that I have written. It's about a teenager who gets invited to a top secret racing competition, but Death Craver is a psycho, and he's leading a team against the teenager and his friends, and they're going to try and kill him or something like that, you know. Anyway, if you want to know more and a more accurate summary, just go check it out on Amazon. Like, yeah, I'm a terrible salesman. So,
Hey, you're a great sim racer. So I mean, you know, it balances out. Pretty damn good author too. So
I guess so. I mean, also this interview makes up for last week. Last week's interview, guys. Everybody, I'm sorry. I did not think it was that. I was just trying to.
Were people giving you grief about that? Because I didn't think nothing of it.
Oh yeah. So there's a problem, right, Joe? So when you talk like I'm talking right now, and you joke around talking like this, the second you talk quiet, you sound like you're dead serious, and people think you're being mean. So I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm being mean. I mean, sometimes I am, but I mean, you know,
a little facetious maybe, but you know.
Oh, totally facetious. Yes,
yeah.
I'm a victim of that. I won't deny that.
Mean, nah.
So yeah, and then I got to thank Tyler again for feedback this week on the data. We were a lot closer this week, which I appreciated, because next week we're probably not going to be anywhere because Atlanta's his second home, which, you know, he's got 10 homes, so you know what are you going to do?
Right.
Good run to Nelly tonight on the podium as well, and good racing everybody else. So yeah, we're gonna same plan as last week. We're gonna go and try and win tomorrow night.
Hey, just gotta keep collecting trophies and checkered flags, Zach. Again, congratulations on the second place run here tonight. As always, a pleasure getting the opportunity to talk with you. Hope we get to talk with you more throughout the year. Good luck, and again, hope to be talking with you maybe next week at Atlanta.
Yeah, Joe, we got the silver medal. Let's go.
Yeah, woo! Zach Rogers, driver of the number 5, your second place finisher here tonight. Thanks, Zach.
Yeah.
Go ahead and finally bring in the driver of the 103, BSR Nelly, your third place finisher. Nelly, you got a copy.
Yes, I hear you.
All right. Well, the elephant in the room is, how quick were you able to find the limits of that race car tonight?
I found it pretty quick. What was it, 5 laps?
I think so, and then again, like another 10 laps later or so.
Or
right?
another 5 laps later, yeah.
You know.
The first time I got underneath, Josh brushed the wall coming out of 2, and I got underneath him, and I got to the next corner, and it just, like, no brakes. And then I slid up into him and doored him, and I had to wheel crank so much that it spun out.
Yeah.
The next one, I caught the apron.
I was gonna say that transition on the bottom's a little janky there on corner exit, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, early problems aside, you rebound pretty dang well. I mean, third place finish, you drove right up there through the field. Got a couple long green flag runs mixed in there, a lot of speed out of this 103 car. How satisfying is that to know that you can make that mistake and you can rebound with relative ease from it? I mean, you're slicing and dicing through those guys.
Oh, they give you room too. Them guys do when you get close to them. But it was fun. running from the back, passing everybody.
Are
I
you,
like the long green flag runs too.
I mean, you give them credit, but come on, Nelly, you gotta take credit. I mean, you're just like a badass out there driving through the field. Come on.
I'm just having fun out there. That's it.
Late race cautions kind of bring you back into the fray for, a chance at the win. You got up to second after the 5 had to come back down pit lane. What was there anything different you feel like you could have done there at the end, or was it just kind of that 18 car is so fast, but
he's just so fast. And then I wore my right front tire out trying to keep up with him and pushed in a corner, and then Zach got underneath me.
And that was it.
Yep.
Fair enough. Well, Nelly, again, fantastic rebound, comeback driver of the race. Third place finish here tonight. Before we let you go, I want to give you the opportunity. You got great partners on the car. You got great folks and teammates and a bunch of other great folks to shout out. Floor is yours. You know what to do.
I want to thank Brian and Kathy for supporting us and Magoo for starting it all. Thanks for you guys for doing what you do. Thanks for all the other drivers that are out here with us. For the guys that are watching. Thanks for my sponsor, the Medicine Chest.
And Nelly, thank you as always for taking the time to talk with us after this one. Again, it's always a pleasure to get the opportunity to pick your brain after these races. We hope to get to talk with you more throughout the year. Know that this 103 team, you guys are looking for nights like tonight more often than not, and I think a lot of them are going to be in your future. Congratulations on the great run, and as always, can't thank you enough for taking the time to talk with us.
Thanks, Joe.
BSR Nelly, driver of the 103, your third place finisher here tonight from Richmond. Folks, that's going to wrap up our coverage tonight from the Richmond Raceway. We can't thank you enough for tuning in, do we? I mean, we saw a pretty good little short track race, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I mean, only 13 cars, but it felt like there were a lot more than that at times, and kind of fitting that I guess we got a late race little shootout like that, and what an exciting one it was. Great night of racing overall, and congrats to Tower once again on a well-earned win here tonight at Richmond.
A well-earned win indeed. And folks, we got some great partners that help support us and show you these broadcasts each and every week. A big thank you to Brian and Kathy Voiles Trucking for their constant support of not only the Bomb Squad Racing League, but also the Bomb Squad Racing Cup Series being broadcast live right here on JTN. And well, for sponsoring us here on JTN, we can't thank those two so much for their support. Can't thank you folks enough at home for tuning in, for listening, for watching, however you help support us, whether you're following us right here or subscribe to us right here on YouTube, you're following us on our social media at JoeTowNetwork, whatever you do to help support us, we can't thank you enough as we continue to grow this brand and kind of keep, things keep changing. Winds of change, they are a-blowing, and we are going to be a-sailing. Big thank you to our friends here at the Bomb Squad Racing League, Magoo especially, for all he does getting us set up and lined up for these broadcasts each and every week. Thank you to all these drivers for always putting on a great show. Again, want to send out our well wishes to Matt Stern, BSR Silver Bullet. Hope you are well again soon, buddy, and hope to see you back out on track sooner rather than later. Again, folks, with all of that being said, for all of us here at JTN, for Bristol, our producer, for my colleague Dewey Schramm, I've been Joe Towanski. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time live right here on JTN. So long for now, folks. Yeah, and they're going to be 3 wide coming to the checker. Never mind, they're going to be... Oh! Turn 4 into the trioval. Whitehill in through the grass. It's going to be Noah Joyce winning his first career race in the Red Bull Cup Series.
Off the ride and a wrecking behind him. U.S. cars flying everywhere. Cars upside down. It doesn't matter. Noah Joyce has done it. He's won at Daytona in the 3 car.
Behind, they're going to be side by side again. Contact there between Sinner and Bordeaux.
Oh, the contact! Oakley into the wall. That's going to be Jack Hill. He comes